Hi, my name is Sam. Welcome to the Hangar. Today, we're going to show you how to take your Hangar skin and laminate it onto a piece of foam board. If you missed the quick tip where we showed you how to prepare the foam board to receive the lamination, check out the links below. When you receive your Hangar skin, the first thing you want to do is you're going to want to cut it out. In this case, we have the Vulture's horizontal and vertical stabilizer. For this example, we are going to be using the horizontal stabilizer. Here's a pro tip. Head over to your local fishing outfitters to pick up a tackle box. In this tackle box, I keep all my X-Acto knives and my pens and my pencils. So the first thing we need to do is we need to cut out the part that we're going to be laminating on the foam board. In this case, we're going to be laminating the horizontal stabilizer of the Vulture. So on this sheet, I've got the horizontal and vertical stabilizer. I'm going to take off the vertical stabilizer and set them aside. And I don't have to cut cleanly around them yet. I'm just separating them from the sheet that they come from. We do everything with X-Acto knives because you can always get a straight edge with X-Acto knives. You can't get a straight edge with scissors. However, you could use scissors to do this step. I'm going to separate the two horizontal stabilizers, and I'm going to set one of them aside. After we've got our horizontal stabilizer isolated, we're going to go ahead and spray it onto the foam. I have found that most spray glue is created equal. I've used spray glue for most of my 20-year career, and I haven't found one that hasn't worked well. So don't feel like you need to go buy the expensive 3M Super 77. Although it's a great product, any of these work just as well. The next step is we're going to take the part to be laminated on the foam, and we're going to spray the back of it with our spray glue. I would recommend doing this in a well-ventilated environment. First thing you want to do is you want to shake up your spray glue. And then you're going to want to do it much like you do when you use spray paint or any other paint for that matter. You're going to want to spray an even coat across the back of it. Now remember, don't spray too much because it will seep through the paper and you'll see it in your print. So after each spray, I'm going to spray and then stop. Spray and then stop. Spray and then stop. You don't have to apply too much of this stuff. And remember, it will get your fingers sticky. So try not to spray your fingers. Or at least don't touch the front of your plane. After I've applied a coat of glue, the glue is activated by drying time. So you give it just a few seconds to dry. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put it onto the foam board. Now, I am one who really likes to save foam board. I know it's cheap, but I try to make the parts fit together like a puzzle. When I do this, I try to line up one edge on the edge of the foam board. That just allows for you to maximize the real estate on the foam board. As we lay the pattern down on the foam, I like to use a Speedball roller. I can pick this up at my local craft store, and it's been a lifesaver. I put it down on the foam, and I roll it out. And I give it quite a bit of pressure to do that as well. Even strokes, roll the whole thing out. The next step is we're going to cut this out. I'm going to use a ruler. I always like to use my corkback rulers. Corkback rulers are the best rulers to use when you're using your X-Acto knife. Here's another pro tip. You want to make sure that you're always protecting your piece of work. Because if you're cutting along and you accidentally go outside the ruler or go off the ruler, you're going to be cutting into your pattern. So what I like to do is I like to put my ruler on top of my pattern, put it down, line it up, and then cut it out. We'll set that aside. Here's another pro tip. Save your scrap pieces of foam. They make great little tools when you need to spread glue or other things. I'm going to cut all my straight points first. Hold down your ruler firmly and drag your knife through the foam. Now, as you see, this is why I want to protect my piece, because I went outside my ruler. I went off my ruler right there. I want to protect it with my ruler, because then I won't cut into my skin. Another pro tip. Don't cut with the tip of the knife. Never cut like this. Always cut on an angle like this. That's going to give you a greater cut. Here, you'll tear the foam. Down here, you'll cut the foam. Use the blade to cut the foam. All the way through, all the way up. And then, I'm just going to cut this off this foam. Just quickly. That's a pretty cool shape. It looks like a flying wing. I'm going to make this last cut on this horizontal stabilizer. And now, when it comes to doing arches, that just takes practice. I'm going to cut along here, once again, going slow. If you want to make multiple cuts through the foam, you can cut just the top layer of paper, and that will help guide you the rest of the way through the foam. You have to do it a couple times to get all the way through the foam when you're doing curves. And there we have it. One side laminated. Now we're going to move on to the next side. This is a double layer. Not all your foam board will have 2 layers on them. On our main fuselages, we typically don't skin the inside of the fuselage. Because it's an external surface and not the inside of the fuselage, we're going to skin both sides of the foam. In this case, I'm going to cut out the next skin in its entirety before I mount it onto the foam board. Once again, using my corkback ruler, put it over the skin so you don't cut through it on accident. If you don't accidentally do that, then you haven't ruined your skin. Make your first cut. I like to make all my straight cuts first with the ruler and leave the curved cuts to freehand afterwards. It's going to take some time and practice to be able to learn how to freehand. It usually takes time and practice to learn how to freehand your curves. But with that, it will come. After you get all the straight surfaces cut, then you can move on to the curved surfaces. Once again, I'm just freehanding very carefully, always looking ahead of where I'm cutting. Trim up that little edge. Go slow. If you go slow and don't rush yourself, then you can get a perfect cut. And if you end up going off the line, it's okay. You can always go back and trim it up just a little bit later, such as the case right here. Go back and trim off that little bit of white. Now that we've got the second side of our skin for our horizontal stabilizer cut out, or any part for that matter, we're going to go ahead and we're going to spray it and glue it onto this. The part we want to spray, once again, is we want to spray the skin itself. We do not want to spray the foam board because you risk having the accelerant of the glue actually eat away at the foam board, and we don't want that. So let's spray the skin. Once again, you want to shake up your spray glue. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try not to spray my fingers this time. Give it a light coat. It doesn't take a lot. I like to spray the edges a little bit more than the inside so they don't delaminate. And there we go. Okay, now this is the important part. We want to line this up. Here's a quick pro tip. Fold it over on itself without creasing the skin and line up one edge. Once you get one edge lined up, the skin should lay out perfectly on the foam. As you go down it, make sure your skin's all down it. Now just remember, if you get sticky on your hands from the spray glue, don't touch your skin because you don't want the sticky from your hands to transfer to the skin. I grab my Speedball roller. And I roll it out. And now we have a fully laminated horizontal stabilizer. You can apply this technique to all the foam board airplanes that you plan on skinning. Once again, my friend, thanks for watching. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please like the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the little notification bell so you can receive notifications when we put out new content. Also, head on over to the hangarrc.com for free downloadable plans. We'll see you next time.